In this video, I'm going to walk you through the workflow action called goal event. The goal event action enables you to set specific goals for a contact that entered your workflow. For example, clicking an email, submitting a form, viewing a contract. The use cases are endless and I will walk you through many of them in this video. So from the moment the contact enters the workflow, the system will listen for the specific goal event to be triggered or to occur, regardless of where the contact is, in which step the contact is inside of that workflow. So whenever the contact meets the defined goal, this action can skip steps within the workflow then, once that goal is achieved. It can help the contact to wait at the goal step or even end the workflow altogether. So for example, you may be running a webinar and you're promoting the replay for the webinar. So the minute somebody clicks on the webinar link, you can then set the goal that this particular person who clicked on the link does not receive the follow-up emails anymore because the system already detected that the lead clicked on the link. Or if you're running an e-commerce business, for example, and you're selling different products and the reader clicks on one or the other product, you can trigger another workflow via the trigger links that then retargets and remarket to this customer based on this product choice only. Or you want to upsell and cross-sell. So the minute somebody purchases a product, they can be labeled with a tag. And based on this tag, the goal could be, hey, when tag applied, then trigger another sequence where you can upsell or cross-sell similar products based on what they've already purchased. Or you're onboarding clients and you have a workflow running specifically for the onboarding experience. And part of that onboarding experience is scheduling a meeting with you. So then the confirmed appointment status could be the goal event. And once that appointment is then confirmed, the contact could skip to the next part of the onboarding process without being followed up, hey, book a call, book a call. Now let me show you how you can set this up. So first let's click on automations on the left, workflows at the top, then click create new workflow or select your existing one. And then right here you can obviously set your trigger as per usual, and then let's assume we're going to send an email for the first use case. Click the plus, add an email, insert all your data, hit save action, and then let's set the goal event. Let's click plus, let's write goal event. And here you can select the type of the goal. Click the drop-down menu and you can see, hey, received an email event, click the trigger link, added a contact tag, removed a contact tag, appointment status, payment received, form submitted, or document status. Since we are working with emails right now, let's select received an email or click the trigger link. Let's say click the trigger link. Then from here, you can select your trigger links. They will all show up right here. Remember, you go to marketing on the left, trigger links at the top. That's where you can set up your trigger links, and then you can take those custom values from here, or you just simply select them in this drop-down menu. So let's say they abandoned checkout follow-up for Black Friday link got triggered. They abandoned the checkout whilst trying to buy a product, and one of our other workflows followed up, and within that workflow, that link got triggered. Then next up, we can decide what happens if this event occurs. Click the drop-down menu. You can either dictate, hey, end this workflow, or continue anyway, or wait until the goal is met. In this case, you can either end this workflow or continue anyway. I would say end this workflow, hit save action. Also, quick tip, I would always recommend you to rename the action name. So goal and workflow. So you know exactly what's happening. Don't forget to hit publish top right corner and to hit save. Now let's say we are sending multiple emails within one workflow. Here you can see we have added email 1 and email 2. Then under the email event, so click on the goal action. Then let's receive an email event. Let's select that. And here you can select which one, received email number 1 or email number 2. Okay, so let's say email number 1. You can also select multiple, okay, if you want to, based on your use case. Select the email event. Did they open? Did they click? Did they unsubscribe? Did they maybe even complain, or did it bounce? Let's say the email bounced. Then we want to end this workflow because we don't want to get our bounce rate up because that will hurt your deliverability. So we can say end this workflow once the first email gets bounced. Hit save action, and that way you can protect your sending domain. Now let's say somebody submits a form. We select the trigger form submitted, and then here you can select which form it is, or you can just use all of the forms. Okay, in this case, we are not going to define which form. We just say, hey, form submitted. Then we're going to select our goal event action. And we're going to scroll down until form submitted. And from here, you can also multi-select all the forms that you have available and published within your CRM. This will help you to avoid branching workflows, as well as it will help you to centralize user logic. So let's say we have this first and second form, okay? This means when the user submits any of these forms, then the goal will be achieved. Then again, you can decide end this workflow, continue anyway, or wait until the goal is met. Now let's talk about payments. Let's select the payment received type of goal. Here you can select the product. Hey, once we've received the payment for the Black Friday product, for example, in this case, if the payment has succeeded, right? Or you could also set it to failed. Then you can set up a follow-up sequence. Hey, if that payment has failed, please follow up with the customer to double check their credit card information, or offer a second payment gateway, for example, PayPal, to check out, because the more payment integrations you have, the more options you give people to check out, the more money you will make. So let's say the payment has failed in this example. And then here you can select a payment source, which is optional. Does the payment come from the website, calendars, invoice, funnel, form? I would just leave it empty because we just want this goal to work wherever they found that product. And here you can dictate, hey, if the contact reaches this goal action without meeting its condition, meaning they have gone through the entire workflow, let's imagine there were more actions like follow-up emails, SMS, and so on, then they reached the goal action, but they haven't actually tried to purchase, and the purchase has failed, okay? So what happens then? If they've reached the goal action step, but the goal hasn't been met, then what? End this workflow, continue anyway with the further steps, or wait until the goal is met. Here I would say continue anyway, because let's say this is your Black Friday workflow where you promote your Black Friday offers. Then you want to continue promoting your offers because the payment hasn't been failed. So they don't need to be added to a follow-up workflow where you ask for a second credit card. Now let's talk about contract signed or document viewed, right? So the trigger here could be documents and contracts. Status is viewed, okay? So let's rename the action name as well right here. Status viewed, okay? When somebody views the particular contract we've sent them, but they haven't signed it yet, right? Then we want to follow up. Okay, so enter all your details, hit save action. You will follow up once, twice, 3 times, as many times as you need. You can also add a wait step in between, maybe wait 12 hours. And then if they still haven't signed yet, you send another email number 2, okay? And then you can just keep going and keep sending endless emails to remind them to sign the contract. And you want to make this workflow stop once they sign the contract, right? You don't want to keep following up when they've signed the contract. So let's set the goal. Document status is signed or accepted, right? You can here, this is also optional, select an exact template. If you don't select a template, this goal applies to all of the documents. And then you want to end this workflow because we don't want to keep following up. Make sense? Don't forget to hit save action and save top right corner one more time. Now let's talk about the tag type. So here we have 2, added a contact tag and removed a contact tag, which means when at any point within your workflow, the contact gets labeled with a tag or the contact gets removed a tag from their profile. If a specific action happens, then they'll be moved to the goal event. So for example, you're selling a product and whenever people buy the product, you will label them with a bought product. Right? So you don't want to keep nurturing them. Hey, buy my product if they've already bought. So in that case, we select added contact tag. And then here we type bought to find it, bought this particular product. And then we want to end this workflow. Now let's talk about appointment statuses. So let's set a trigger, appointment booked, right? Customer booked appointment. Amazing. And then they get nurtured, yada, yada, yada. And then the goal is, hey, they actually attended the appointment, okay? So the appointment status is, or the appointment calendar, you can also select the calendar, and then the appointment status is showed. Once they've showed up to the actual appointment, you can then end this particular workflow, continue anyway, or again, wait until the goal is met. We will say end this workflow, and then we will add them to another workflow, which is just simply a follow-up workflow check-in. Healthcare service, for example, if you run a clinic, that becomes really handy. Hey, did you get all your needs met? Or you want to send out a survey to ask how the service was. Or if you're a real estate agent and somebody showed up for the viewing, then you can follow up with a sequence that gets more information on different other properties that they may be interested in, right? If the appointment status is confirmed, meaning in the first step in the trigger, for example, it's only booked, then you have to go manually in, maybe review the data they have given you in the qualification form, for example. From there, you decide, do I confirm this appointment or I don't confirm this appointment? Maybe you're a coach or consultant and you really have a tight qualification process in place. Who do you want to work with, right? So let's say you confirm the appointment, then they'll be added to another workflow and are being prepared for the next meeting. And that way they need to consume different types of materials, maybe watch your webinar and so on and so forth. And this is how you use the goal action within workflows and make your processes much more intelligent. I will see you in the next video.